So, you're thinking about playing a sub-DPS, right? Well, let's talk. Sub-DPS classes in Elsword play a crucial role in team overall's damage output, especially when it comes to supporting the main damage dealers, the high DPS classes. Now, the power build for a sub-DPS is very similar to the high DPS, but why would you even consider playing one? That's exactly what we are going to cover in this video, so let's get to it! So, why should you play a sub-DPS? Sub-DPSs are key to maximizing your team's overall potential. They ease the burden of the high DPS, while still having great tools to shine. And with recent updates, the sub-DPSs now can compete in damage with some high DPSs when played right. If you want to help your team and still feel powerful, sub-DPSs might be perfect for you. Which sub-DPS should you try? Well, when choosing your sub-DPS, you have a lot of good options to start your journey. But if you want to know which one fits you the best, I will give you some options by what I consider easy and hard due to their own mechanics, systems, and passives. Easy sub-DPS are like Comet Crusader, Centurion, Empire Sword, Cold Essentia, Revenant. Hard sub-DPSs that require a good understanding for you to perform well are like Niche Labyrinth, Opferum, as known as Bigot 2, Celestia, Oculus, and Apsara. Choosing your equipment. Your gear makes or breaks your damage output. You need to build around your character's strengths and weaknesses. Rigomore gear, choose between Scarlet or Cerulean. Scarlet will give you Polarize, more damage dealt, but you take more damage too. Cerulean gives you a chance to reset your skills, great for burst potential. Tenebrous gear, you should customize it with shadow effects like all skill damage, continuous damage, skill reset chance, or increased damage to enemies under percentage HP. You better choose depending on your playstyle. If your damage depends heavily on one or two key skills, you should go for skill resets. If your kit is more flexible and you don't have problems with cooldown time, you should consider doing the flat damage boost. The Exascale gear, choose between Compute and Cycle. Compute will give you 1% magic and physical attack per skill used, stacks to the maximum of 20%, while Cycle alternates between cooldown speed and 16% skill power when triggered. While Compute is great for bursting, especially when you pair with green reset gear in your team, Cycle it is better for longer fights where ability uptime is key. You gotta choose based on your character's need. Titles. When considering titles, you should consider how useful they are to help you by increasing your damage and help your team. So here are some top picks for you to look up to. There are what we consider main titles. They are very powerful titles, but they consume one L's essence for you to refresh your buff duration each time it expires. So keep that in mind that you need resources to properly take advantage of the title. The Setting Sun, Black and White, Natural Flow, and Dogma are the titles that you should look up to. By the way, Elsword made it easier for you to unlock those titles, considering how the game evolved and requires that kind of power for you to progress. As for your second title in your favorite title options, you should consider getting as we know as Awakening title. They provide meaningful buffs once you awaken while using them in the dungeons. So the key trick here is by alternating in the middle of the dungeon to the Awakening titles, awaken while using it and go back to your main damage title, so you can take advantage of the Awakening buff, enhancing your damage even more. Guardian of the Airon-Elsword, Freed Shadow, and Concerto are the top picks title for you. When you are just farming a normal dungeon and need a little bit of damage boost, you should consider Pierce the Heavens, Survival of the Cold, and Dark Gaze. Of course, not all people worries about wasting El's essence to make their lives easier when taking down farming dungeons and bosses, but they are good to keep it around. Accessories. When it comes to accessories, you want raw power but smarter power, not just high combat power. Here are some accessories options for you. You must have raid accessories. They are very strong, but also consider Code of Honor, plus 10% damage to enemies with higher than 50% HP, but you lose 10% of damage to enemies that below 50%. Engine cooling system is pretty much the opposite of the Code of Honor. So here's a pro tip. You better have those two accessories and you need to swap depending on your boss HP. That's easy 10% bonus damage for overall. Other great accessories options. Drabaki's Wing. It is great if you roll magic physical percent boosts. Master Road Set. Equip 3 pieces for the set bonus. Soul Crown. Plus 5% attack when you awaken. Demonic Vine Crown. It is a situational accessory because it will give you 10% plus when you awaken, but it will short your awaken duration and applies minus 5% when you are not awakened. Energy Conversion Device, which will give you 1+% per debuff that you have, maximum for 3% plus attack boost. As for the Ice Burner accessories, Abyss accessories are the current go-to for power, especially when they are paired with Vita Fontana and Erebos Elegy, their upcoming sets. When choosing Ice Burner accessories, you should look for effects like Adaptation, Continuous Damage, Critical Damage, and Polarize. The right visual gear will make all the difference. As for the artifact accessories, you should socket yellow effects into your artifacts. You should prioritize Polarize or Attack Power for your rings, Bravery or Strength skill effects for your necklace. Gameplay and team synergy. Elsword recently got a synergy update. Sub-DPSs now buff either physical or magical damage based on their own type. Make sure you are in the right team. For example, Apsara. She is a pretty much physical sub-DPS, so she is better in physical teams, providing critical damage, physical defense reduction, and amplifies physical damage taken. Centurion, on the other hand, it is a magical sub-DPS, because it will buff magic attacks, add super armor, and reduce magic defense, and many other options that you can support your magical team. So basically, as a sub-DPS, you won't be expected to top the charts, but don't just mash buttons. You should use your fighter's potion to boost your damage output and support your high DPS teammates. So don't slack off, please. So that's it for today's video. I hope you learned a thing or two. I will be going for now and I will see you in game. Happy farming for everyone.